Hey, what's up, people? I just wanted to interrupt quickly before we start season 2. I wanted to say thank you all so much for your support on season 1. It made everything so much more incredible, and I cannot thank everybody enough from the bottom of my heart. Sorry it's been so long to get us to season 2. I've been away, I've been learning, trying to optimize this podcast to bring you guys the best possible product. Thank you all so much once again. I don't want to take up any of your time. As you've probably seen in the title of this episode, let's get straight into our conversation with Claire. Claire was phenomenal, one of my favorite podcasts I've ever recorded, and it was so nice to get back into the swing of things. Right, let's run the intro music and get ourselves started. Thank you guys very much for listening. Right, today, episode 1, season 2, had to start off with a bang. Doesn't get much bigger than 100 plus international caps. Captain of our country, proud mother, Claire Maxwell from Scottish and Sirens has joined us. Claire, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I was running out of breath there. I tried to get everything in once, and about halfway through I was going. Right, like I said, before we got on air, I've been buzzing, looking forward to this for a long time. We have mutual connections that I knew from school, got the conversation rolling, and you're finally on the podcast. Took a while, but we got you there. We're going to start with the usual, the quick fires, get everything nice and out in the open, have a chat, see what funny questions you've got, funny answers that we might have. So, simple one to start, tea or coffee?
Neither.
Neither, no. Oh. Are you a cozy juice person? Are you like a warm Ribena?
No hot drinks.
No hot drinks at all. Well, we're gonna have to delve into that. There's a psychological reason. Night out or a night in? Which one would you prefer?
Night in.
Oof. Home cooking or a takeaway?
Home cooking.
Oof. If you had to get rid of one tomorrow, would you get rid of netball or would you get rid of dogs?
Oh god, dogs.
Get rid of dogs. Oh, I can't get rid of dogs.
Not gonna be popular.
Right. If you've got a long journey, would you get rid of radio, or if you're on a long journey, would you listen to the radio or would you listen to a playlist?
Playlist.
Oof. We're gonna have to delve deep into that. The fans will know that there's a big question coming at the end of this podcast. Right, a movie or a TV series if you're settling down for the night?
TV series.
What series are we watching at the moment? Any big ones?
No, pretty much finished it. Now I've got a daughter. I don't get much TV time.
Just one episode every 6 weeks, and then you just try to keep
pretty much, yeah.
Right, if you're trying to get a night out sorted, would you call people or text them or FaceTime? One of the three.
Text.
See, I'm a caller. I just get stuff sorted. I can't handle 20 different people trying to text something.
Nah, WhatsApp groups. That's where it all goes then.
Oh, trust me, with Doddy Aid, I was helping out on Doddy Aid, and I've had enough WhatsApp group and chats. Rob Wainwright, if former Scotland captain, he has about 16 different group chats on the go. He doesn't just reply to the same one, just makes a new group chat.
Oh wow.
Right, if you're trying to relax, bath or a shower after a long day. Not like a get clean, like a I'm having time to relax, bath or shower.
Shower.
Strong. Is it acceptable to wear socks and sliders? Yes or no?
No.
We're going to fall out. You're going to be off a lot of people's Christmas cards list here. Is it I don't even need to ask you this one now. That's written down. I was going to say, is it acceptable to drink a cold cup of tea, but you wouldn't drink it hot, so that doesn't matter. What is your favourite bit of memorabilia from your time at netball? Just off the top of your head, favourite bit of kit or stash that you managed to run away with?
Commonwealth Games medal ceremony kit.
Nice. That's probably the best answer we'll have to that one all season on episode 1, so that's good. And last but not least, what is your go-to musical?
Oh, Les Mills.
Always a good start. See, simple as that. Quick fire questions, done and dusted. So I had the list of questions, and we're going to completely scrap them all. How do you not drink hot drinks?
I don't know. I just do not like them at all. Not even hot chocolate. I know, it's bizarre. I want to like it. I feel like it's a social drink. Everyone goes, do you want to go for coffee? I'm like, yeah, sure, but I don't actually order coffee. So.
Oh, what do you do at Winter Wonderland? Like, how do you pose for photos? I've been told it's mandatory to pose with a hot chocolate.
Just borrow someone else's, make them stand in the pose.
That's probably best. I would just buy one. To be fair, we were there in Christmas, and it was so cold. I would just hold one. I wouldn't even drink it.
Yeah, hand warmer.
Most expensive hand warmer you'll buy is a hot chocolate at Edinburgh Winter Wonderland.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. So before we get into the questions, I always ask, and I think it's really important, how are you getting on? Just how has life been treating you in the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's been really good. We're in the thick of the siren season, so it's been awesome to get back in front of fans. Obviously, it's been a long time with COVID, so it's been over 2 years since we played at home. So yeah, it's been really, really good. Like just getting out on court and it's starting to build up to com games. So the last couple of weeks have been good.
Nice. What's it like with the build? What was it like when you actually got that game back? I'm completely the list of questions. I'm just gonna flip the page. The questions are gone. We're just gonna ring it. That's how every podcast I've ever done. You just go, here's a list of questions, and about 3 sentences in, you just rip it out and just throw it away. What was
Yeah.
that? What was that first game like when you got the fans back and you actually got to hear? When you do the runouts and the team gets announced, you actually get to hear the roar and people clap and cheer. How's that feel?
Yeah, it was a big game for us. We actually played an international against Barbados in November,
Mm-hmm.
and it was very touch and go. Initially we were playing Malawi, and then kind of COVID restrictions kind of put a stop to that, and then Barbados were keen, but you're always on edge because anything can happen at any point in the world at the moment. So when that did happen and we played in front of a full crowd at Emirates Arena, it was just unbelievable because it was my first game back as a mum. We're under a new coach. I still walked out as captain as a country, and yeah, we had a packed out crowd, and we really put in a performance that we were proud of. It was a young group, a new group as well. We've got new players in the squad, so yeah, it was awesome to be honest. Like it's been a long time. It has been since we hadn't played in a Scotland dress since the World Cup 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So
I can imagine that, and then as you said, with all the extra stipulations of you returning as a mum, captain, and it must have been absolutely. I reckon it must have felt like that was about 3 times the size of what it normally was. The crowd there.
yeah, it was like doing my first cap all over again. So
Did
yeah,
you did
it
you
was
feel it a bit in the stomach and in the knees? Was it you were like, oh, I'm actually quite nervous for this one?
Yeah, well, it's kind of putting you out there, and it's the first real test, and you don't really know. Like my body's still kind of adapting since birth, and you don't really know how you're going to perform. It's we didn't have the siren season or anything like that leading into it, so it was a bit of an unknown. But no, we put out good performances, so it was a big kind of tick box, and it secured our Commonwealth Games qualification.
I was going to say, I remember watching it, and I remember because I did, proper podcast of doing his research, watch the highlights again to make sure I was watching the right game. But no, I remember watching it, and you wouldn't have known that you guys were sort of praying you got a game and trying to get some physical, get the miles in the legs again. You were all pretty composed, so you hid
Yeah.
the nerves well if there were nerves. So
Yeah, I
don't
feel
worry.
sorry for our background staff because they had so many logistics to try and just kind of work their way through to get the game up and running. But yeah, touch wood, COVID stayed away and the games could go ahead.
Exactly, and then it will happen again as well for the World Championship this year. World's
Commonwealth Games this year
Commonwealth
and
this
then
year.
World Cups the following year. So two big years coming up.
That's a pretty hectic schedule. At least in most other sports, you at least get a sort of summer off. You guys just now we're just churning through them.
Nah, it's full on netball. You don't get much of a break.
Trust me, I talking a complete side story. I remember at school, and we as the rugby team always used to fear the women's netball's coach because the stories that came out of that, it was terrifying.
I think I
We
know
used,
what coach you're talking about. I can imagine.
I can imagine. No, I'm thinking there was two. There was two. There was a dance coach in Peebles that was notoriously not brutal as well because it makes it sound like they abused children, which they didn't do. They were very rigorous with their training, but
Yeah.
they churned out a lot more international stars than the rugby team has. So I think if there was one coach we should probably copy, it was probably her.
See, there you go.
See, we'll get her on and we'll be like, what did you do to these kids that scared the living daylights out of them?
Made them train hard.
It was. I've got another section about this. So netball is classed as a non-contact sport. I remember in PE when we had to play netball and we went against people like our mutual friend Lauren Tate,
Yeah.
all the team like that. I think I was battered from head to toe. Like if I had double PE and it was netball, I was faking injuries from the weekend. I was like, oh, coach, the knee's quite sore from rugby. I might have to sit this one out and stuff like that. Just walking. I'll do the passing drills. That's all I'll do.
Yeah, people are so shocked. I mean, when they come and watch us live, they kind of get taken aback. But if you're actually on court against us, then you really do realize it's pretty ferocious out there. Similar to basketball, I mean, it's classed as a non-contact sport as well, but it really isn't. There's a lot of contesting for the ball, and we train full time, so everyone's kind of athletic and strong, and will go hard for the ball without pulling out.
Mm-hmm. Quick question on that. I have it written down here, and I've just put in block capitals knee pads ? Why do none of you wear knee pads? Because I've watched, I'm a guy with knee injuries, right? I don't play rugby anymore because of knee injury, and every time I see one of you just go smack bang, onto the floor, and I wince with pain. I think, oh my God, you must be in so much pain right now.
Yeah, we try and stay on our feet as much as we can, but if we are going to hit the floorboards, we try and bounce back up and just knock it off and pretend it didn't happen.
I respect that, but I wouldn't recommend your kneecaps as the source to bounce from. Oh, your physio must be walking around like teeth chattering.
Yeah,
every time he sees one of you, and I just see all these ankles and knees. I would be watching games through my hands as a physio.
Yeah, it's a hardcore sport. And it's just even like the impact on your bones. Never mind if you fall over or you hit the deck, but just the kind of sprinting at full speed, then having to stop.
Yeah.
When you receive the ball and not move, it is demanding on your body for sure.
I know. You must invest a lot in frozen peas. Frozen peas and ice packs.
Yeah, I've had a couple of injuries in my career, so
just the one or two
in the freezer.
Oh, right. So we're gonna delve right deep into start. How did you end up at netball? Was it a school thing? Was it later in life, or was it age 5 or younger? Just I'm gonna play netball.
Yeah, I was really fortunate. So I'm from the middle of nowhere up in Aberdeenshire, and my mum was a volunteer coach at my local primary. My older sister played as well, so she coached me at primary school. So I started about P5.
Right.
And I loved that. Played in the wee netball festivals just within the local kind of country primary schools up there. And then my mum also coached the local club. So me, my mum, and my sister at one point all played in the same team once I was old enough to play in the adult league. So that was quite cute. But yeah, I basically followed their footsteps, and my mum was my main taxi driver. Took me to all the sports, but especially netball.
I can imagine you had the very same down here in the borders. There's not a lot of buses and communal routes, so a lot of mums have put a lot of wear and tear in roads and cars and miles upon miles of petrol.
Yeah, she had that, and then I did swimming when I was younger. So she not only did she have to do the taxi, and she also had to do the early wake up calls as well. So she got the short straw, having a sporty daughter that picked two demanding sports.
I was going to say they're not two sports that you just sort of rock up on a Saturday for either. That's no wonder you can play netball. There was sprinting to stop. Like you were learning to play in sport without breathing. So
yeah,
play sport. It always sounds weird when somebody says you play the sport of swimming. You compete in swimming.
Yeah, that's true.
So how did that? I want to talk about that. That's quite cool. I remember my old man always used to say, he's like, I'd love to play rugby. Bearing in mind he's like 40 years older than me and my brothers, but he's like, oh, I'll play rugby. I was like, Dad, if it ever gets to the position where you and I are on the same pitch, either you're incredible or I've done something horribly wrong in my rugby career. But what was it like? What was it like getting to play with your mum and your sister just standing? I mean, I know it was, like you said, it wasn't the biggest stage of them all, but it must have felt quite a special moment.
No, it was really cool. Like, my mum's a really good player at netball, and she competes for the Scottish Masters at hockey. So she's really athletic. So, you could actually look up to her. And I was really young in the adult league as well. So I was only 15, 16 at the time. We all played different positions, so that helped. It wasn't competitive in terms of me getting on court over someone else. So it balanced out the team pretty well. And, being from the country, you don't always have the same depth or the range of teams that you could play for. So, no, I actually really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was good fun. I have good memories of playing up north.
No, that must have been. I like how you really understood. My mum was like, my mum was local team coach. Like, she was also masters hockey, and she was very very good. But
yeah,
she was just local team coach. God, I'll have to get your mum's number after this, and we'll get her on as well. We'll be like, right, tell us about how you managed to coach greatness, and then decided to do it yourself as well.
Yeah.
So, does your mum, now that your mum's still got a few points, does she still phone you or text you after the games, being like, "Oh, you see in the 58th minute, you should have done this"? Or
yeah, I think she's my biggest critic sometimes, but well, I'm probably my own biggest critic, and she's maybe second. But no, she comes to every game. Like, she's travelled the world wherever we played. I don't think she's missed a cap that I've played internationally. So that's pretty impressive.
I was going to say, especially when you read the list of where you've been, that's a very impressive stat.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes they have to pick which of their daughters or sons they need to go and watch play at the weekend. But no, she's followed my netball career and she knows the game well. So after the game, you always get an honest analysis of the performance of the team.
Keeps you humble. I like that.
Exactly.
You'll have people on Sky Sports raving about you, and your mum will be like, like 6 out of 10. Expect to see more next week.
Not remember that pass you didn't make. Yeah.
I think that's always the way that parents will always they'll just try to keep you humble a bit. They'll be like, "We saw you throw that one into Rose Ed by accident." You'll be like, "Oh well."
Yeah. Well, they're the ones that make you great half the time. So
exactly. So if your mum hadn't coached you from the very start, you wouldn't be playing for Scotland, maybe. So,
No, probably not.
so the very first, I know we spoke a bit about how when COVID came back. I want to talk about your very first game for Glasgow when you were representing them for the very first time. How does that feel like on a nerves? Because obviously it is a massive sport in the UK. It's a massive sport in the world, but in the UK specifically, I think it's the leading women's team sport in terms of popularity, netball. So
Yeah,
do these thoughts start to creep into your brain when you get the debut and you think, oh, I'm playing quite a big sport here. Like there's cameras that have Sky Sports written across them when I go to attend some of these games.
yeah. No, it's bizarre how much netball has come on since I started. So I think I've been in the national team for 13, 14 years now. So I'm showing my age, very old in the national squad in comparison to all the youngsters. But when we first started, our world ranking was down at maybe like 18th in the world. Netball players weren't paid.
Mm-hmm.
You were having to do a lot of travel. And then Glasgow Wildcats kind of came about, which was the first franchise team within the UK league. So that was big, but netball wasn't as big as it is right now. And as I say, you didn't get paid at the time, even competing in this UK league, which was shown on Sky TV. And it was a shock to the system. That first game, we got thrashed, to say the least. And we went in with a lot of confidence, but the reality of how good the league is in the UK really kind of stood up and made us know that if we're going to be in this league, we need to work hard. So we lasted 3 years, and then the league decided to go a different direction, being an England netball-based league. So then I travelled to Team Bath, played for them for a couple of years after the World Cup in 2015. And then there was the big breakthrough when Strathclyde Sirens, the Glasgow-based franchise, broke back into the league.
Mm-hmm.
But by that point, there was money in netball, nowhere near as much money as there should be, or you can't compare it by any means to the likes of rugby or football. You know, a lot of people are still part-time athletes, but work, training full time.
Mm-hmm.
And you were getting full crowds. So our first game for Strathclyde Sirens, we sold out the main arena at Emirates. So that was over 4,000 people watching an indoor sport of netball in the UK, which was the biggest ever that we've had. So that was just incredible. And as you say, having Sky TV, and it's, a lot more analyzed by public. Like you've got your Twitter and you've got your Instagram, and you've got everyone putting in their own kind of opinions and thoughts on it, and everything's analyzed that bit more. There is a lot more pressure on how you perform nowadays. Before, you probably could have played a game and not many people spoke about it, whilst now there's that real netball community. And as you mentioned, netball is the number one female sport in the UK, so it's really going places. The league is really taking off. The standard within the league's getting better and better. There's kind of lots of international players come over and play in our league as well. So it's a really exciting place for netball. I think we can continue to grow, but considering where it was when I first started, I couldn't imagine, like, if you asked me where netball would go or if I'll get paid for netball, I would never believe you. And now it's
Mm-hmm.
at this stage when we're on regular TV slots on Sky TV, athletes are paid. Yeah, and it's a really good standard.
I was gonna say, well, you were talking about being a part-time athlete there. I read somewhere you were a PE teacher at one point as well, where you were playing.
Yeah, I still am a PE teacher. I'm still on maternity leave, so I'm stretching that out as long as I can. But no, I'm a full-time PE teacher. I
Oh
stopped
wow!
when I went down to Bath.
Right.
Well, the first year I commuted to Bath, was teaching. Second year I moved to Bath because I realised commuting was hard,
I was gonna
and
say
not,
that's a trip.
yeah, not great for performance sport. So yeah, I took a little bit of a break from that, but no, I still teach full time. There's a couple more teachers in our team. There's a lawyer in our team. Yeah, we're hardworking girls. We have to get up very early in the morning, train, work, then go back to training at night. So it's
Wow.
demanding,
So
but
what
it's worth
does
it.
what does a daily routine look like for you then?
If I wasn't on maternity leave for the
Yeah.
girls at the moment, Monday morning we get it's like speed and agility.
Right.
That's at like 7 in the morning, and
Are these
then
are these like team sessions or are these individuals? Because in the rugby background, I'm used to the women. I spoke to the women on the last season's pod. Rona and Sarah, they explained so a lot of their training is they go away and then they come back for periods. Like if they were going to the Commonwealth, they'd come back for a couple of weeks and train as a group then. Or is yours team sessions every day?
it's a little bit complicated in terms of like the national team. You do have players kind of spread across the UK. We've also got a couple of players overseas at the moment as well. But the players that are based in Scotland are part of the Institute of Sport. So if you're based in Scotland, part of the Institute of Sport, then typically it's like a supervised session and you are in together as a group. So we do quite a lot of collective training, probably more than other sports would. And it's also because a lot of our athletes are based kind of central belt, so we can actually tag in and kind of train together. So yes, it does differ per sport, I guess, but we are in a reasonably fortunate position in terms of the Institute of Sport put on supervised sessions, which really helps us. But yeah, we do speed Monday morning, go to work, return for weights at night, Tuesday morning's recovery, work, court session at night. Wednesday is strength in the morning. So at times initial top up of conditioning at night. And then Thursday's court. Friday is a 7 o'clock netball session, and then followed by weights, and then Saturday typically game day. So yeah.
I'd be living. If that was me, I'd be living for Sundays. I'm not gonna lie.
It's Sunday rest day.
Yeah, I wouldn't even open my I wouldn't even open my curtains on a Sunday. I'd just be keeping them shut.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't even imagine. Like I joke that I've got a lot of free time now, and then I see whenever I talk to you guys, especially the part-time athletes, I just realize there's so many hours in the day that I do not utilize to their full potential.
Yeah, well, I now realise that as a mum, how much free hours I had previously, and that's with doing full-time netball and work. So
you must be living for weight sessions. You're like, get me to the gym. I'll go there.
I know that's what a lot of people say. That's my kind of me time, release time. But when you're tired, sometimes that's the last place you want to get to because you've been on the go all day with a daughter that runs about the house. So
I know.
Yeah,
You should honestly bring her for shuttle sessions on a Monday. That's what I'd be doing.
Well, the poor girl ends up coming to my 7 a.m. court session on a Friday morning when we were playing netball. In the first few sessions, it was fine. She just slept through them, so she was quiet, no bother. But
Right.
the last maybe 3 or 4 sessions, she's been awake during them.
Oh, no.
So it's been interesting. Our coach Leslie has had to hold her whilst coaching a few times because she won't just sit on the ground. She needs entertained or held. So it's an interesting session on a Friday morning, but the girls quite like it. It puts a smile on their face when they're tired from getting up that early.
I was going to say, like, a nice, smiley, happy baby always lifts the room, so...
Yeah, no, it gives a different edge to it, that's for sure. The girls love it. She's part of the team.
Exactly. Well, that's what I was about to say about you guys getting to do team sessions as well. That must help with confidence and sort of, like, I don't know, generating, like, optimism in the team, getting to still train together, because... I can imagine nothing worse than getting sent to your own local gym by yourself and told to do shuttles or a weight session at 6 a.m.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's part of kind of the reason why we fell in love with netball is the people in the sport and being part of a team and the kind of bigger common goal. And as you say, you don't want to let your teammates down. Like, so that is actually part of your motivation and going to weights and there's a bit of chat and kind of lift each other up. It'd be very different if they weren't there. So no, it is. We're very grateful that we have each other and it is a supervised session because, yeah, it can be brutal if you're on your own, kind of churning it out day in day out, pushing yourself.
Yeah, especially if you then had to deal with children after. Because I know from that I was a smart ass child, so I don't think my teachers would give me the time of day if they'd been in the gym since 6 and then had to put up with me.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it works in your favour because you're a bit more awake for that period one class. Because when you don't go to the gym beforehand, you're kind of half asleep still.
Is it high school you teach us? It's PE, isn't it?
Yeah, high school PE teacher.
You're a braver woman than I am. Obviously, I mean, you're a braver woman than I'm a braver man, but I'm not a woman at all. Wish I was. I'd be much luckier. So back on from that after that weird sidetrack, but I'm glad you guys get to do stuff. I think I cannot explain how important I think the team aspect is to sport, and then when you hear about these paid athletes having to go away to get stuff done, so I'm glad that they still put that stuff on for you, the Netball Association. So when as you took me nicely onto the next point with the Sirens joining as the franchise rejuvenated, what was that like? Were you guys getting calls? Like, did you have friends that were playing around the league and you were getting? Have you heard about the Sirens? Like the whispers of the Sirens team getting called up, or?
Yeah, I think it was really competitive. I think there was quite a few different teams that bidded to try and get into the league. It was well known that there was going to be a shake-up. We weren't sure how many teams. It was all kind of kept quite hush-hush. And at that point, I was dating my husband, and he was up based in Glasgow, and I was like, oh, what do I want to do? I'm down in Bath. Do I stay in Bath? Do I move back home? So when Sirens did get the green light and we were in the league, I got a very good phone call to say we want you signed. So I signed. I was the first player to sign for Strathclyde Sirens, so that was super exciting. And we had a really, really, really strong team in that first year. I really wish we finished slightly higher. A couple of games went by our wayside, which we really should have won. But it was really exciting. I think we did a great job in that first year getting it off the ground, because it can be tough, getting new sponsors on board, starting from fresh when other teams have been in the league for 10 plus years and really had that time to grow. But no, it was an exciting time, and I think it came at the right time. And there's so many like talented youth players in Scotland that are just beginning to step up and really kind of stamp their authority in the league.
Amazing. So how did it feel, as like you said, you were the first signing? I assume I'll put words in your mouth, you don't have to say this, but I assume you were kind of like a headline attraction of, if we get Scotland captain to represent the Glasgow franchise, because you would have been, based on my notes, you would have been captain around that time, 2000. Yeah, you would have been captain, or just becoming. But yeah, so you would have been quite a headline. So did they say that to you when they were signing? You're like, you're going to be on the posters, you're going to be the front of the programs, things like that.
Yeah, I think they were pretty keen, because they knew I was kind of between two franchises at the time, and I was a bit split in terms of whether to go to Team Bath or Strathclyde Sirens, and they wanted to have homegrown talent in as well. Like, they're putting a lot of resources and funding into it. They also want to develop it, so it's a platform for the national team as well. And I think I was one of, maybe there might have been two of us that were currently in the league, and everyone else wasn't currently playing in this kind of top flight league. So they were pretty keen to sign me. So that was, lovely to hear from that point of view. And, I was equally as excited to come home and, be part of this new chapter. And it's a chapter that's definitely growing. We're now in our 5th season. And last season we had some of our best results. So it's definitely getting bigger and better every year.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And like you said, if you can create a platform, and if you can see it, then you can be it. So that was probably of importance. And how does the netball league structure work in the UK? So obviously you've got the Super League at the very top. Is it just the same? Just sort of then you go to a national. Does it become a Scotland only league, an England only league, Welsh only, or does it then just filter its way down? Because unfortunately, with sports like that, like the big ones, football, there's like 1,700 different football games on the telly every night, so you know exactly how a kid goes from age 5 to starting for Celtic, but you don't really know how these other sports come about. You just kind of see the best of the best, and you go, somebody just pulls your name out of a hat. It feels like.
Yeah, no, we're part of the UK league, and then underneath that in England they have their own league, which we're not part of, called the Prem League. Up in Scotland, we've really been working hard to develop our pathway, so it's not such a big jump from playing locally or nationally to then playing this English Super League, which is full of amazing talent from across the world. So we're really trying to bridge that gap and give people, more opportunity and more exposure, especially because not all our national athletes are in the Strathclyde Sirens team, because we do have girls from abroad and we have girls from England as well within that team to make sure our team's competitive. So we've to kind of develop this Strathclyde Sirens development team. So they play friendlies that we organise against potentially other franchises, who it might be their kind of youth squads, or it might just be kind of pre-season games. So we do try and expose as many athletes within our pathway to it, but they're not part of a registered league. And then they try and pick up games as much as they can, either inter-squad play, or kind of through their university teams and different kind of avenues that they can. So there is still work to be done there, but they have been working extremely hard behind the scenes this past year in particular to try and improve that pathway system into Strathclyde Sirens or into the national team. So as I say, you don't have like such a big jump.
All right, at least it sounds like they're getting a development through that.
Yeah,
and it's like you said, when you look back at where something was 10 years ago, you wouldn't believe what it is now, and then you won't believe what it is in another 5 years.
Yeah, some of the girls are so lucky in terms of like they've come into it and they have the institute support and they have some financial funding to, if you're a Strathclyde side, some help there financially. They're playing in the top league, or there's a pathway to get to the top league. Plus, we weren't even part of the Institute of Sport when I first came in. So, they are in a really fortunate position. Hopefully they are fully aware of that. But at the same time, they're in a really exciting, because I think there's still a long way to grow. So for some of them, where they're going to be at in another 5-10 years is going to be incredible.
Are you going to look to? It sounds like you've got quite the smart head on you for netball, as well as the PE background probably gives you good help of how to run it. It's almost like a big PE department, isn't it? You kind of got the heads department. You come in, the PE teachers, and then. So is that something you're going to look to go into? I know you're not. I'm not talking about you like you're going to retire tomorrow. You've still got a long way to go before somebody goes bashing her for retiring. But yeah, are you looking to go into that when you get on? Are you going to stay in netball after you
Yes.
stop playing?
I've been really fortunate. So I have done some coaching work in the past. So I've coached under 17, under 19s, and under 21 Scotland age groups. Went to the under 21 World Youth Cup back in 2017, I think that was. And then the previous 2 seasons, I was assistant coach for Strathclyde Sirens. One because I was on maternity leave was last year, and the previous year just because of experience that I had. So coaching is a passion of mine. Yeah, to be honest, I would love to coach my daughter's team. Like, she's still obviously a baby just now, but if she
that's why she's at the 7 a.m. sessions.
Yeah,
just learn by osmosis. Yeah.
No, if she decides to kind of pick up netball, I would love to set up a little local club, like just within my area, starting quite young, because I think we start them reasonably old in a lot of clubs. So I'd love to set up like an under 9s team, and then just kind of grow it and take them through the age group. So that's a kind of back burner little like aim I would have for her in our like our wee friendship groups and stuff. So I definitely won't be far away from netball. I've done performance coaching. Where I go in the next kind of 5-10 years, I don't know. We'll see. That
Sirens, you're not going anywhere. Sirens. We're not sending you down south. You're staying at the Sirens.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hey, we'll be there. Me and Bruce Aitchison. He loves his netball.
He does.
You must know Bruce, actually. He's thinking that PE teachers.
He's a big fan. He brings his daughter to the game. So yeah.
If you go to the Sirens, that'd break his heart. And trust me, he's a very emotional man. There you go, Bruce. You managed to get another shout out on my podcast, even though I copied you in creating a podcast. But happiness is actually, we might tag you, we might not. So, right, I want to talk about, so you did quite well there. You were explaining the pathways and how this level sort of increases and how you try to expose people. Talk to me about the Fast Five, because basically from what I could tell, that was, we're going to take the elite of the elite and just pit them against each other. Like, there's no such thing as a day off. You're going against the best of the best every single time.
Yeah, it's fun, Fast Fives. So it's kind of an entertaining version of netball. So 5-a-side, it's very fast, short games. There's different rules in it. So they put in different scoring system for goals, and then at one point within the game, there's a 2-minute period when you get double points for your goals. So if you score a 5-point goal, which is from outside the circle, it equals 10 points within that 2-minute period. So yeah, it's really exciting. It's a shooter's game, so shooters do well. Centres, which is the position I play at Fast Five, it's a running game because you don't have the other 2 players on the wing to support you, so you're up and down doing a lot of shuttles. But
I was about to say, you as a centre/wing defence must have really loved it when they explained those rules to you.
yeah, you're in for a running session, but you can tag in, tag off, so it's more like a team. Like maybe you're only on the court for maybe 3 or 4 minutes at a time, then you switch in and out quite frequently. So yeah, you pretty much play everyone and see how far in the competition you go. So yeah, we love it. It's just great fun. It's usually in the pre-season. The fans love it. It's unpredictable. It's a version of the game they're still exploring. Like, we want to get netball in the Olympics. Yeah. Whether that'll be the traditional game of netball, a mixed game of netball, or Fast Five game of netball, we don't know. But one of our kind of aims as world netball is to make an Olympic sport. So yeah, Fast Five is one of those games that may be up for discussions. We don't know yet.
Well, you talk that is another section I had on the thrown away piece of paper that went to pot. Yeah, I cannot. When I was doing my research, and I was kind of aware it wasn't an Olympic sport, but you always double check. And I was like, how is this not an Olympic sport? Because you think, if you can take bloody football in where they don't even send the best players to the Olympics, you've got to have netball where they would try and live for that.
Absolutely, I 100% agree. Nah,
Well, you've got one signature here. I'll sign the petition.
yeah, we would honestly love it to be an Olympic sport. Like the Commonwealth Games and World Cup, they're amazing, but to be an Olympic sport is really something we strive for. It's one of our aims. Unfortunately, some of the kind of major countries in the world don't all recognise netball as much as a sport. Like they don't have the same awareness of what it is, and maybe don't have leagues within their country. So unfortunately, that's what kind of stops us at the moment from being able to become an Olympic sport. But the Olympics are being held in Australia in 2032. So that is our main aim. Obviously, over in Australia, they're number one in the it is circled. They're number one in the world, and we really would love, even if it's a pilot event for the following Olympics, but to have an opportunity at that games, because it is growing across the world. There's more and more countries taking up the sport, and to be part of something like the Olympics, it's only going to increase the audience within the world, and hopefully kind of generate an interest in maybe countries that aren't so familiar with it.
Exactly. Well, look at the success of basketball. Had that. They did like a 3-on-3 one, and it was the most watched event at the Olympics.
Yeah, and even like netball, like at the Commonwealth Games, it was the event that sold out the quickest by miles. So yeah, I think it will have, particularly in some countries, it certainly has a demand for tickets, 100%.
Yeah, but like you said, Australia, they're not. They are. Well, they're technically world champions. Are they not? No.
No, they're number one in the world. But
New Zealand,
New Zealand beat them in the World Cup final. But no, they are number one in the world. We had the World Cup in 2015, was in Australia, and it was sold out crowd all the time, in the Olympic Park in Sydney. So yeah, the demand will definitely be there in Australia without a doubt.
You see, if you're campaigning for it, I'd just send them that one sentence. Just go, we sold out the Olympic Park.
Yeah.
Like,
easily.
There's not many more reasons to fund an Olympic event, is there?
Exactly. No, it really would be a major step for netball if it could be an Olympic sport.
Would that be if they did get announced at 2032 Australia? Would you be like, I'm going, come hell or high water, I'm there?
No, I don't have the legs in me to last so long. I'm too old.
You've only got another 10 years. It'll be fine. We'll just lots more frozen peas. That's all you need.
Yeah, just fill my freezer just now. Stock up.
I was gonna say maybe only 75% in the sprints on the Monday. Just conserve a bit of energy. But
start tapering.
I'm sure if you said to Lizzie, like, I'm 2032, I'll be good to go. If you just let me do 6 instead of 7 reps here, I'll be fine.
Yeah. I'll work it into a contract somewhere.
As long as it's at the Sirens, that's fine.
Exactly.
So, completely talking about you staying at the Sirens, I'm now going to ask you about your time at Loughborough as the Fast 5 champ, now that you've explained Fast 5 to me. Because Loughborough, I reckon everybody that walks around Loughborough must be able to get a 15 on the bleep test and not even bat an eyelid. Because every person that I've ever known that's lived in Loughborough is a professional athlete at some sort of level.
Yeah, it's an interesting city, Loughborough, because nothing against Loughborough, but it's not a big city with a huge amount of things to do, but it is the centre of athletic development, with the university in particular bringing in a lot of athletes from a range of sports as well. It's not just one particular sport. So, Loughborough won the league last year, and they're also the reigning Fast 5 champions. So, not this time, but the previous time for Fast 5s, they gave me a phone call to see if I would compete for their team. So that was great fun because I'm used to competing against those girls, and for the first time I actually played on the same team as them. Sarah Bayman, who's a former England internationalist, but she also played for Strathclyde Sirens 1 year. She was the coach. And yeah, it was a great event. It was a lot of fun, and to get all the way to the final and win it was a great achievement.
It sounds impressive, but I'm reckoning the nightlife's not quite as good as Glasgow. That would be my selling point.
No, not many places beat Glasgow, I don't think, for culture.
I think that must be the most true statement in this whole podcast that we're going to say today. Glasgow city culture.
Yeah.
So how is it at a World Cup when, as we've spoken about, all these pressures coming on with the spotlights, the TVs, the deals, the Sirens, when it gets to the World Cup and you are Scotland captain, and like you say, you've brought all these players in who are situated around the UK trying to get a game, maybe it's financial benefits or work benefits has put them where they are. how does that go? And then you're in Liverpool, which is it's not Scotland, but you're not going to get many closer places
Yeah.
for a World Cup. How do these rack up in terms of lifelong memories? Could you recall it and draw a picture for me if I asked you to right now, or
Yeah,
does it kind of become blurry? It's that much of a
no,
moment.
pretty much. Like, I can remember a lot of kind of key moments from that competition because it is a standout event. Like, I've done 2 Commonwealth Games, 2 World Cups, and I've been fortunate that I've done a home Commonwealth Games and away one, an English World Cup, UK based, and an away World Cup as well. And the home ones are just out of this world. Like, a lot of people are like, "Oh, where's the next Commonwealth Games?" And I'll say Birmingham, and they're like, "Oh, that's a shame." And I'm like, "No, I'm so buzzing for it to be in the UK because it brings a whole other element to it. Like having that home support, having people who know you in the crowd, people willing you on. Like it is the best feeling, and it's sold out. Like the atmosphere in Glasgow and in Liverpool was just unbelievable. And yeah, Liverpool was special. Like the England team in particular, they couldn't leave their hotel room. Like they couldn't go out for a coffee because their hotel they were staying in was bombarded by fans 24/7, like outside the door. I remember their captain Serena was trying to leave in disguise. So like she's got like quite big kind of afro kind of hair.
Yeah.
And she had like her hood up, sunglasses on, like all this random clothing on just to try and escape because as much as like you're in this amazing bubble, you also kind of need downtime so you're not hyped up the whole time or stressed. You know, you need that time to relax because the competition lasts 10 days. But they couldn't. They were mobbed by fans. So their hotel they were staying in was only maybe like 400 meters from the venue. So a lot of countries were just walking to the venue. You're going to go via a back door into it, and they couldn't. They had to get into like taxis or a team bus, and even at that, they were mobbed just going from like the hotel door to the bus. So it was an unbelievable experience. There was loads of media at it. As I say, it was sold out. People knew who you are, so it was a really good vibe. Liverpool was a brilliant city to be held in as well. So yeah,
You're almost right with the country there. They consider themselves their own country. So.
No, I mean Liverpool's probably the English version of Glasgow, isn't it? It's got good vibes down there.
Yeah, very Scouse not English is what they say, is it not?
Yeah. Yeah.
If people are happy and they do it right, then I'm not gonna tell them how to live their lives. They seem to be happy. I can't imagine the thought of playing a World Cup, even though it technically not being my home country, being so close. Like you say, it's what 4-hour car, 2-hour train.
Yeah, not far.
So
yeah,
it's not exactly out with the realms of possibility. People travel further in Scotland to watch rugby. So
yeah, no, it's exciting. Like to have Birmingham coming up, we already know there's so much home support kind of coming down. They're booking up accommodation as quickly as they can to make sure that they have the best time down there. But so there's gonna be a lot of support at that as well. And yeah, it's super exciting to see how we do on the world stage.
good. And will the daughter be front and center on the team bench?
Yeah,
Tilted up.
She's coming down. Good luck to my husband because he'll be on his own with Lucy, who'll be over 1 year old at that point. So she'll be keen to try and like walk about and see different things. But yeah, it'll be an amazing experience to have them both there.
Well, I can't wait to watch it. I think it will be grand. So we've spoken about netball, talked about you as a netball player. Obviously, people are much more than just what they do as an athlete. The whole premise of the podcast, find out. So, what do you guys as athletes do when you are not working, when you are not being a very responsible, proud mother, being a professional Centurion cap athlete for you? Do you do anything besides sleep, or have you mastered sleeping standing up yet? Or
Depends if you talk about my pre-mum life or my mum life. Nah, downtime's so important. Like I would say I played my best netball when my life away from netball's been my happiest, like 100%. And then I can see that in other. Now I'm a bit older and a bit more mature as an athlete. I can see that in so many other people. Like I can see how people's performances are actually better when their home life is like they're really happy with it and really settled with what's going on away from netball. So it's really, really important to have that split life because you can't be in that netball bubble and mindset the whole time because it's too intense. It'll just wear you down, and then it'll, you know, have negative effects. So yeah, for me, I'm pretty chill, to be honest. Like, I like cinema, I love food, love going out for food.
You're a foodie.
Yeah,
Love that.
I just like that. It's the social, like, out for food. I love playing stuff like silly stuff like crazy golf and, you know, just doing stuff like that. Yeah, it's important you have that time, because you are away a lot as well. So you want to have that time that you can spend with your friends and, you know, chat nonsense and not be in a kind of netball mindset.
So does Claire Maxwell have any hobbies when she is in her downtime? Do you have any? Are you a painter? Are you not just
Nah,
foodie? Have you
yeah,
set up the food Instagram page yet? That sounds like something that's
no.
got to be coming.
I'm not that extreme with it. No, I like going out for brunches and, yeah, dinners and different things. Yeah, I don't mind a bit of baking. I can do a bit of baking.
You must have been thriving in the past 2 years then.
Yeah,
How many banana breads has your
no,
husband had to eat in the past couple of years?
yeah, they're so tasty as well. You
They are.
literally, if you're stuck in the house, you end up eating it very quickly. But
And it's bananas, so it's healthy. That's
yeah,
what I'd be telling the kids.
that's exactly what I tell myself as well. Yeah, I was trying to make healthy versions of it, you know, banana and oat, all those kind of recipes. But yeah, in lockdown, it certainly kind of opened your eyes to different things. I enjoy other sports as well, like going to watch other sports. We set up like a mini tennis court on our back garden. It's not a massive back garden. We're certainly not posh by any extent, but I borrowed like a badminton net from school and just tied it from one side to the other, and we got our tennis rackets out and just did like little short tennis and stuff, you know, just to kill some time, have a bit of fun. So that was good fun.
That's the most PE teacher thing
I
I've
know.
ever heard there. Just I will be given the basic necessities in terms of equipment, and I will make a game out of this. Yeah,
competitive game. I like competition.
that's if it's not competitive, it's not. Our family couldn't even play swing ball without it turning into like a row. And
Yeah, we're not allowed to not
do
play.
you remember like those old bats they had for swing ball? And they were kind of like they weren't like cork, they were like plastic, like
Yeah, I know exactly the ones you're talking about. Yeah,
like those things leave a mark when they start getting used as weapons, not as rackets. They are.
Yeah, that sounds very similar to my upbringing. We were very competitive, and as I say, Monopoly is a no in our house.
We try once a year at Christmas, and after about 2 hours, it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christmas is ruined because nobody's speaking to each other.
Exactly.
So, what was I going to talk about next? Yeah, the Claire outside and netball. You said yourself much get times out. You guys watch a lot of other sports. Do you get to communicate with a lot of other female athletes from Scotland or England that do other sports? I assume as a PE teacher, you must have met a few, because I know a few that are other PE teachers.
Yeah, I've met a couple through kind of PE teaching and also through the Institute of Sport. So pre kind of COVID times, you were in like the Scottish women hockey team. They were in a lot, and a few of the footballers, like Joe Love, etc. They trained at the same time as us because kind of similar to us. Unfortunately, a lot of female sports are still kind of part time, so a lot of them were working. So they'd be in the similar kind of 6:30 a.m., 7 a.m. slots in the morning doing their weights training at the Institute of Sport. So you cross paths with them, but it's a kind of good way to network as well, because as much as our sports are different, you still need that fundamentals of being an athlete and being strong and robust. And yeah, it's good to share different people's stories as well.
Is there any athletes you've seen doing something like, you know, when you hear all these stories about LeBron James and stuff, and they spend days in cryo chambers and things like that? Have you ever seen any little tricks of the trade going on in like locker rooms or stuff like that? And you think, I'm going to pinch that little recovery method?
No, not in the institute, to be honest. But I used to swim with Hannah Miley. I don't know if you know her, but
that's a bit of competition there.
Yeah, I mean, she's a much better swimmer than me, but she really looked outside the box. Like, her dad was our coach at swimming and continued to coach her during kind of her Olympic career and stuff. But she looked out the box in terms of loads of different ways that she could get like small 1%ers for swimming. But she would do things like rock climbing. I'm pretty sure she slept in those kind of like tents, the kind of not gas chamber, but the definitely
like air deprivation or ones.
Yeah, it impacted your oxygen levels. So she would kind of look outside the box and do all those kind of quirky little things to try and get her 1%ers for swimming. So you do hear of some stories that are quite interesting.
I've heard some random. I heard there was one. it was a basketball player. He used to wear, the little things you get when you get a pedicure and it like stops your toes touching the floor.
Yeah.
He would wear those around his house to make sure he didn't like strain his toes or something random like that.
Oh wow.
Apparently strengthen the top of your foot.
Oh.
It was, when you're scrolling through TikTok at 3 a.m, you're like, I should be in bed. It was like the secret to such and such a success is in his pedicure or something like that.
Oh wow. Well, there was always that chat. A lot of footballers did like ballet, like Hendrik Larsson and stuff used to do ballet, and it helped his kind of body composition and strength and all the rest of it. So yeah, there's some interesting.
He did all right, didn't he? So
I know.
Oh, right. I think we're getting pretty close to the end, actually. There, Claire, you've smashed all my questions and you've given such an insight. I love getting people on with the sports I don't know about because I get to ask all the silly questions.
There's
and nobody can tell me not to ask it. That's the PE teacher. No such thing as a silly question, only the ones that you don't ask. So we're going to end it with my favourite section. It turns out to not be my guest favourite section by the time the podcast gets aired, but it's called Under the Team Bus. Very similar to the quickfire questions, except this time, instead of answering which one you'd prefer, you ask which one of your teammates comes to your mind when you get asked that question.
Okay.
So, and if you feel like throwing somebody under the bus, I'll judge by your face and I'll go, no, you need to give a real answer.
Okay.
So, nice and easy start on. Who's the most determined person you've ever played in a team with?
Emily Nicol.
Good answer. Who's the biggest practical joker in the changing room?
Ooh. Bethan Goodwin.
Nice. Who is the most gullible? Who's the most likely to fall for the practical joke?
Kelly Boyle.
You're answering these with real quickness. I quite like it. You're not sugarcoating. There's no diplomatic shit. It's just, no, definitely her.
Until they start asking me questions about it, then I'll need to have a good think about why.
It's all right. Well, what I'll do when I'm editing this is I'll just go and find all their Twitter handles. So when I post the link, I'll just try. You guys might want to watch this. Who's most up for a night out? Who's the one that's always trying to get the team out after a big session or a big win?
Gia Abernethy.
Who is that? Sorry, you cut out.
Gia Abernethy.
Nice. That's a wonderfully Scottish name as well. I like that.
Yeah, she's Australian, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's the most Scottish sounding name I've heard.
Yeah, no, she's an Australian. She's our current Sidings captain, so she's always looking for a bit of team building. And if we do win, we want to celebrate it.
We've definitely missed the trick with her. We definitely should have looked through the grandparents like family tree for a Scottish heritage name.
No.
Who's got the most fashion sense in the squad? Obviously, you all have to wear the same stuff a lot, but who's the most fashionable when they come in for game day?
Beth Dix.
Nice. And controversially, who's got the most out there fashion where you think, oh, I don't know if I'd wear that?
Oh.
Not necessarily bad, but just wow.
I think I might say Sarah McPhail, but she's actually really, really fashionable. But we have completely different body types. I could never pull off what she wears, but she looks really good. So it's actually a big compliment, but I can't carry it off. I'm too old.
We'll just put that as like most out there fashionable says brackets massive compliment.
Yeah.
Who's the best dancer in the changing room post game when you've got the tunes on?
Oh. Oh, that's a hard one. Let me have a good think. Oh gosh, no one's coming to my mind. That's terrible.
It's going to be even funny when I ask you the next question, which you can probably guess what it is.
I'm going to go with someone who's not currently in the team, but they used to be, Jim McNeil.
Fair. That means somebody's got to take it upon themselves on the next team night out to become the best dancer.
Yeah. I'll be keeping a close eye next night out. I'll be like, who can I pick next time?
So who's the worst dancer by comparison?
Jim McNeil.
Those two tend to go hand in hand, that question.
Yeah, no, she just goes for it, and she's so bad she's good.
I love that. Has she got any notorious dance moves? Any that stick in the brain where you're just like, oh my.
Oh, there's a few. Yeah. We had an 80s night out once, a long time ago, and some of her moves in the 80s theme or 80s song were interesting.
I love it when people just go interested and look away from the cameras. It's like, that's not what we're talking about. So, right, future coach, who could you see somebody coaching the national team for the next good 20 years or so? Or just a team? Who's like the on-field coach?
I think Nick McCleary is quite a good coach. She's a PE teacher as well. Currently does school teams and stuff. But yeah.
Good answer. Who is hard as nails? Who's somebody that you just think, if I ever got in a fight, I'd be happy if she was stood behind me on my side?
Well, there's two people. Kelly Boyle would be the scrapper, and Emily Nichols, the strong one of the team. She's the strongest player, so I'll take both of them if I can.
Great response. I like that. Who's the most natural talent you've ever had? And what I mean by that is, who's somebody that's came into the team, or the first time you've played against them and you just thought, this girl knows how to play netball? Like, might not be the most physical or the best athlete, but just...
I'm going to say Bethan Goodwin.
Really?
She'd be surprised with that, but I've known her since she was like 10 years old, and she's always kind of stood out as being talented, and yeah, she's got some good moves on the netball court for sure.
Fair play. And then from that, who's the most natural athlete you've ever, just somebody that's just got an engine for days?
Iona Christian.
Nice. Right, let's see. Are we near the end? Oh, we've got 2 left. Who is most likely to order a plain meal at Nando's, no spice?
There is someone. Who is it? Oh, Callie.
Really?
Callie, last time we went to Nando's as a team not that long ago, and she's a plain girl, yeah.
Oh no. And last one, who hogs the mirror the most after the game when they're getting ready for their big Sky Sports interview?
Beth Dix.
Beth Dix. Oh, well, there we go. Under the team bus. They can all successfully say they've been thrown under the team bus by Claire Maxwell.
Yeah, Claire... I'm sure a lot of them will have questions after that.
You'll just get a lot of people in the big group chat. They'll just be like, Claire, question mark.
Yeah.
Do wonder for me. It'll be nice. It means people actually watch the podcast, so we're good. And final question, Claire, before I let you get on your way, that you enjoy your downtime. You have just won in Birmingham. You've won the World Cup. You've got the trophy. You have now got the team to get ready for a night out. You have to pick 3 songs. What 3 songs are you picking?
Tell Me Something Good.
Brilliant. What a good start.
It was our walkout song for the last game we played. Belter.
Absolutely. That's a very classical choice song. I like that.
Yeah, we played that before our World Cup, before every match. We used to go out to that. And Yes, Sir, I Can Boogie.
Yeah, it's the most Scotland collection of 3, and it is by far trumped anything from season 1.
Yeah, everyone knows the words for them. They're upbeat. I reckon it would get, yeah.
It is. And I reckon as well, if that made it onto Twitter, if somebody snuck a phone onto the bus, you'd have all the Scotland players from every sport retweeting that.
Yeah.
That you would unite a country with that on a team bus. There'd be nothing more iconic than a team bus of people singing that after a big win.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Claire, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure to finally get you on. Where can they find you on social media, or where should they look to follow on social media, the Sirens and everything?
Yeah, so you can follow Strathclyde Sirens like on Instagram at sirens.netball, also on Twitter and Facebook as well. And then myself, it is Maxwell Brownie on Twitter or on Instagram, Claire_B_10.
Amazing. Thank you very much. All those links will be in the description to everything. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the usual stuff there. Exact same as last season. We're only getting bigger and better. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. As usual, thank you to the sponsor, Wild Haggis. As I said before, all links down in the description. Everything you need for protein, get it there. Discount code still applies. Always a good one. Check it out down below. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. My name's Sam Matthews. Over 8 Minutes Podcast is back with a bang. See you guys all again next week for another one. Thank you very much. Bye.